Hey guys, Jeremy here. I am back with another video for Life by the Square Inch, and once again I am here with one of the videos for my 30-day world challenge that has been put out by the Absolute Tabletop guys in conjunction with their Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin Kickstarter. I am here with day 17, question 17. What rare and interesting races populate your world? The first one I'm going to talk about is Rostfiend. In Rostfiend, there are actually two races that I added in, both of which were based around ideas that other players had kind of in the past. The first of which is the Casbah, which are basically catfolk. There's actually a pretty funny story with kind of how they ended up with that name, but maybe I'll tell that story at a different time. But the second are the Congans, which are basically ape folk. Think like Planet of the Apes, but without guns. These were named such because at the time I had actually just seen the movie Congo. The second setting that I'm going to talk about is Arath. On the Hetust side of Arath, there are the Drinak, which are yak folk that kind of have a decidedly Tibetan kind of feel to them. You can actually see a fantastic representation of one of these played in my Oath of the Frozen King one-shot that you can find on this channel. Thank you, Lisa. On the Tanthara side, there are the Trudes, which are a desert version of lizard folk. And these guys are kind of really nasty raiders and ambushers that have almost the same kind of role to fill that orcs normally do in other settings. And they have some pretty cool tricks up their sleeves. The third setting is Acid Rain. And, you know, maybe Acid Rain wasn't such a great idea to include in this exercise because, again, it's an alternate Earth, so no, there's no interesting races. The fourth setting is Dowrenland. Dowrenland, on the other hand, has several interesting races. I transported the Casbah from Rostfiend because it had a great fit, and especially whenever you consider that both the Cheshire Cat and the Cowardly Lion are canonical characters from the source material, it really just made a lot of sense to just go ahead and use them and have them present in the world anyways. In addition to that, there's also the Golems, which I mentioned in a previous video, the Neldinks, which are basically the Munchkins, the Herku, which are the half-giants, and the Kassir, which are kind of like satyr-like elves, and then the Livens, which are the rabbit folk. The fifth setting is Caldera. A lot of the races in Caldera are simply reskinned versions of themselves from other settings, kind of with the intention of them fitting in with a better Western kind of flair. So, for example, the Minotaurs tend to look more like buffalo or longhorn cattle. The satyrs, the centaur, the wood elves, and things like that are much more kind of Native American in their culture and their design. There's a secondary human type in the world called the Dorathians. Now, these are actually the descendants of the people that once lived in this ancient kingdom, kind of before they were reduced back to this kind of Stone Age level of technology. And their closeness with the magic-saturated landscape of Caldera has given many of them Fey-like traits. So horns and hooves, animalistic eyes, fur, things like that. And many of the people from the East incorrectly consider this to actually be a sign of demonic nature. The sixth setting is Chrome City. Once again, as the Harbinger setting is not my own, I haven't added any races to it, but maybe in the future if the need arises. And the seventh and final setting is Momentum. The races of Momentum are really more variations of some of the usual suspects that you might expect. So you have humans, elves, dwarves. However, there is a race that I'm currently developing called the Bonekin, Now, these are beings that are kind of built like the Kunari from the Dragon Age games, but they live a little bit more like hobbits. So they're really beings that are the only ones that can manipulate the earth and the god giant's bones and flesh that was left behind. Um, so they're masons and craftsmen and farmers and things like that. And because of their resemblance to some of the Colosseas, such as like a large stature and having horns, as well as their ability to manipulate the bone that they left behind, many of the people here kind of treat them with a mild kind of reverence. So that's it for day 17, question 17. What rare and interesting races populate your worlds? So if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit the like button. Drop a subscription if you're feeling kind. Check out some of the other videos here in this series, the 30-Day World Challenge, as well as the Making Magic Items card video, the first official separate video that I have on my channel, in addition to the live plays that I also have, which there are plenty. Stick around. And until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.